Ibrahim Traoré had just discovered a black package on his desk that contained the 4 words, 48 hours leave or else. He had only 47 hours, 38 minutes, and 12 seconds to live. When his phone rang, he didn't recognize the number. "Did you find the envelope?" As soon as he hung up, a distant explosion reverberated, and the building across from the presidential palace was engulfed in flames. "I know who you are," the voice inquired, and Traoré replied, "and I promise you I'll still be here after 48 hours. Ibrahim Traoré's morning had began like any other. He headed to his office in the Ouagadougou presidential palace at 5:30 a.m. He conducted his finest thinking while studying at these early, quiet hours before the majority of his personnel. The black envelope wasn't there when he left his office last night. His security procedures were stringent, meaning that no document could reach his desk without being screened. However, this envelope somehow managed to get past all of the security measures as the explosion's flames spread across the street and his office door burst open. Security Chief Arago hurried in hand to retrieve the envelope. "Mr. President, are you okay? We need to relocate you to a safe place right once." Traoré stayed sitting and studied the envelope on his desk. "Last night, nobody was in my office. Emmanuel, and the night logs don't contain any entries after you departed at 11:20 p.m. We've had a breach," Traoré said calmly in spite of the chaos outside. He held up the envelope, which someone had delivered right to my desk. "I think they just detonated a bomb to emphasize their message." Ouagadougou's face hardened, but he let me see that it had already been opened. Traoré replied, handing him the note with its menacing words. The security chief scanned it. "No," Traoré responded firmly as he stood up. "That's exactly what they want to disrupt governance to show they can make me run and hide." His countenance darkened as he read the message. "This is a direct threat to your life, Mr. President. Protocol dictates immediate evacuation to the bunker." Traoré nodded a warning shot and then turned back to Ouagadougou, saying, "I want a full security sweep of the palace. Check every camera, every log entry, find out how that happened." He was watching emergency vehicles arrive at the burning building. Did anyone get hurt in the explosion? Initial reports suggested the building was empty and was scheduled for demolition next week, as Ouagadougou left to follow out his orders. Traoré's private phone rang once again with the same unknown number. "You're still there," the voice continued, brave but foolish. "What do you want?" the envelope said as it reached my desk. "Simple," Traoré said. "I instructed you to leave Burkina Faso within 48 hours, quit the president, pass the border, and never return. And if I don't, the building was deserted today, tomorrow, and who knows your mother's nursing home, your sister's school, or perhaps something more nationally significant." But the call ended before Traoré could reply. His official phone rang, and then it was Foreign Minister Gabor. "Mr. President." I just received, and his eyes narrowed. Did he say something about stability concerns after the explosion? How did he know I would be available? The explosion occurred less than 10 minutes ago. There was a pause on the line. "I don't know, sir. Tell him I'm busy managing the security situation. The French ambassador called urgently and asked for an urgent meeting with you this morning." He checked the digital clock on his wall at 5:47 a.m. and said, "We can meet tomorrow." The strange timing of the French ambassador's call at 8:30 a.m. was his first sign that whatever game had started, he now had 47 hours and 13 minutes to finish it. Traoré had convened an urgent meeting with his most trusted advisors, Security Chief Ouagadougou, Defense Minister Zongo, and Intelligence Head Amina Khanate. While the presidential palace was under a controlled state of heightened security, the security sweep revealed nothing worrisome. Defense Minister Zongo remote detonated the explosion with precision charges, minimal collateral damage, and maximum visibility. The intelligence director, Kate, was a sharp-minded woman who had risen swiftly through Burkina Faso's reformed security system. There were no reported unauthorized entries or camera disruptions. Whoever delivered that envelope either had inside access or capabilities beyond our current security measures. The intelligence service appeared distressed, "Sir, but there's more to know. Over the last 24 hours, there have been several million euros transferred through offshore accounts, connected to 3 of your cabinet ministers." His expression stayed neutral, but his mind was racing with the names of which ministers: Foreign Minister Gabor, Economy Minister Dio, and, surprisingly, Health. The room fell silent as Minister Ouagadougou spoke. These 3 of Traoré's most prominent ministers were all involved in recent policy changes. that had put Western interests in Burkina Faso in jeopardy. Connie went on to say that we've noticed an increase in encrypted communications between some French diplomatic personnel and these accounts. Nothing specific, but the timing is suspicious. On his wall, Burkina Faso showed how his nation, which is resource-poor by international standards but rich in human tenacity, had been resisting decades of neo-colonial rule under his leadership. They had demanded that exploitative mining contracts be renegotiated, expelled foreign military bases, and started forming regional alliances without Western consent. This is about the Chinese. The $5 billion infrastructure package, he said, will finally be signed this Friday, precisely 48 hours from now. It would drastically lessen French and American influence in the area and change Burkina Faso's energy and transportation systems without the predatory terms that Western institutions usually demand. Sir, Ouedraogo said cautiously, if this threat is connected to the Chinese, maybe it would be wise to delay the signing until we can guarantee your safety. Traoré turned to face him, saying, that's precisely what they want, to create doubt and give the impression of weakness, which they can use to sabotage the agreement. His voice became firm. The signing will go ahead as planned, but we will use these 48 hours to identify the culprit and eliminate the threat. As the meeting came to an end, Traoré gave explicit instructions that Connie would track down the financial transactions and communications, and Zango would covertly strengthen security around Traoré's family and important infrastructure. Members Ouedraogo would look into possible inside sources of the security breach alone in his office. After checking his personal security procedures, Traoré opened a hidden safe behind a painting of Thomas Sankara, the revolutionary hero of Burkina Faso. Inside was a flash drive with evidence he had been collecting for months about foreign meddling in Burkina Faso's affairs, a satellite phone that was not connected to any government systems, and a loaded handgun. When his secure line rang, it was Amina Conate. By midday, the first assassination attempt occurred. He was on his way to a planned meeting with military commanders when his convoy took an unexpected detour. Sir, there's been a change of plans, his driver said, and Security Chief Ouedraogo ordered that we take you to the French embassy. Traoré noticed the driver's face in the rearview mirror. The man had been with his security detail for more than a year, but something about his manner felt strange, so he immediately felt that something was wrong. I wasn't informed of any change. The order came through just minutes ago, sir. Urgent protocol. Traoré said, confirm this change directly, Ouedraogo. Traoré told his personal security guard sitting next to him. The guard phoned, scowled, and got no response. Try your secondary line again, he said, but it didn't connect. Traoré took the snap decision to halt the vehicle. Sir, I gave the order to stop. Traoré's voice carried the unmistakable authority of command. The driver hesitated, then stopped on the outskirts of Ouagadougou, where the urban landscape gave way to more remote terrain. Where exactly is this secondary command center? Traoré asked. It's the facility near the old mining complex. The driver responded, his temple now spotted with a bead of sweat, despite the air conditioning. Traoré knew right away that was a lie and that there was no such facility. He got out of the car and told the driver to put his hands where I could see them. The standoff lasted only a few seconds. The driver reached for something under his seat, but Traoré's security guard was quicker, and after a brief struggle, the officer had the driver pinned to the ground. A search turned up a satellite phone with only one number on it and a syringe filled with clear liquid. Traoré told his crisis team that the syringe's contents, which were later determined to be a potent sedative that suggested abduction rather than immediate assassination, The call log back at the palace under intense interrogation revealed that the driver broke quickly. 3 days prior, a French businessman had approached him and offered him 50,000 euros to drive Traoré to a remote location where others would be waiting. He claimed not to know the ultimate plan. Examining the interrogation report, Defense Minister Zongo said, why did leverage suggest that Intelligence Director Conate forced you to sign something under duress and make announcements so they could record or extract information about our defense systems or create a power vacuum they could fill with someone more cooperative? The wall clock read 1:23, with fewer than 36 hours to go before the deadline.